Welcome to the story of Daniel, Episode 1, The Beginning. I was born November 20th, 1957, at St. Joseph's Hospital in Houston, Texas. My first year of life I spent on Foster Street in Houston, while my parents had our family's new home built. In November 1958, my family moved to 5757 Thrush Street, and an area referred to as Beldart, right off of South Park Boulevard. I grew up and attended Madding Elementary, where I made good friends. Desiree Cayley and Walt Laverne are, to name just a couple. My family attended South Park Baptist Church, where I was baptized, and my father, Kenneth Edward Hanning, served as an usher and sometimes deacon. Very early, even before we moved to Pearland, I was a Cub Scout. My mother, Margaret Nora Hanning, served as den mother for my Cub Scout pack, and Dad served as the troop's treasurer. I remember going to blue and gold banquets held in the cafeteria of Madding Elementary, and it was the same room that I graduated from Cub Scouts to Webelos. I remember the night that I turned my Cub Scout cap and scarf in and received my Webelo patch and scarf. The Cub Scouts taught me the importance of self-reliance, respect of elders in the community, and that knowledge is power. At the same time I was learning these lessons in Scouts, I was learning even more in my father's garage. My father was an X-ray technician for 3 orthopedic surgeons in the Herman Professional Building in Houston. They were the Herman Associates. Doctors Hutcherson, Dr. Moore, and Dr. Baker. When my father came home from work, he had dinner with the family, only to go out to work in the garage. My father ran a small business out of our garage, K&M Electronics, Ken and Margie. My father repaired televisions, radios, record players, ham radios, and transmitters, teletype machines, and, well, pretty much everything if he could get the schematics. When work was done, he spent time on his ham radio. This garage is where I learned electronics and satisfied my curiosity for how things worked. It was also how our family could afford summer vacations every year. It forced me to see how large the world was outside our little corner. My father taught me that a hobby could help create financial stability for a family, that a father's work was never done, and that self-reliance was not a burden, it was an honor. I helped my father every night in that garage. Once my homework was done and all my chores were done, I would ask my mother, "Can I go outside and help Dad?" "Yes," she would respond, "but try not to get in the way. Be careful." Even at a young age, it seems, I had a bit of a problem being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I would go out. If Dad was working on some electronics, I would hold a light for him or hold the solder as he replaced parts in a broken radio or television. I was an unusually curious boy. My father used to say a lot, "Look with your eyes, not your fingers," and "There are no eyeballs in the tips of your fingers." Reason being, seemingly on a regular basis, I got shocked or electrocuted. It was not the fault of my father. It was just the sharp end of my curiosity getting the better of me. But I learned. I learned the basics of electronics. I learned how to use tools. I learned about the larger world outside our garage, our city, our state, our nation. I learned at 6 and 7 where China was, and the USSR, and India, and Japan. I heard the voices of people from these faraway lands as they crackled over the speaker from my father's ham radio receiver. I remember helping my father erect his first 50-foot aluminum tower in the backyard on Thrush Street, and watched as he and his friends lifted his first dipole antenna on top of that tower. Late at night, I would sit by the window in my room and look up at the red blinking light on top of the tower and think about the faraway lands and the people that lived in those lands. Coming next, Episode 2, the formative years and the Hannings moved to Pearland. Thanks for watching.